You have never thought of yourself as someone who could be manipulated. Maybe you have even prided yourself on it. You read people well. You notice things others miss. You are not the kind of person who gets taken advantage of. And that specific confidence, is exactly what makes you the perfect target. Not despite your intelligence. Because of it. The most sophisticated manipulation happening around you right now is not aimed at people who are careless or naive or easily fooled. It is aimed specifically at people who are certain they would see it coming. Because those are the people who stopped looking. Here is the thing nobody wants to admit. Intelligence protects you from a lot of things. It does not protect you from this. In fact, the research on manipulation and coercive control consistently shows something deeply uncomfortable. People with higher analytical intelligence are in some ways more vulnerable to sophisticated emotional manipulation, not less. The reason is specific. Intelligent people have learned to trust their own reasoning. They have been right enough times that their internal assessment of a situation carries significant weight with them. So when a skilled manipulator gives them a reasonable explanation for something that should feel wrong, when the story checks out logically even though something in their gut is saying wait, the intelligent person overrides the gut with the reasoning. Every single time. Because they have been trained their whole life to trust analysis over instinct. And manipulation does not live in analysis. It lives in the gap between what something looks like and what it actually is. Stop for a second. Think about a decision you made in the last year that you later looked back on and thought, how did I not see that at the time? Not a small decision. A real one. Something involving a person you trusted. Where the outcome made you question your own judgment. I am not asking you to answer out loud. I am asking you to hold it in your mind while I explain exactly what was probably happening that you could not see from the inside. Sophisticated manipulation never announces itself. It does not feel like pressure or aggression or obvious dishonesty. It feels like understanding. The person doing it does not start by taking anything. They start by giving. They give attention. The specific quality of attention that makes you feel like the most interesting person in the room. They give validation, not empty flattery, but precise acknowledgement of exactly the things you have always wished someone would notice about you. They give agreement, not on everything, because total agreement reads as false even to intelligent people, but on the things that matter most to your identity. The things that tell you this person sees who you really are. And by the time they have given you all of that, by the time you have restructured your understanding of yourself partially around their perception of you, asking you for something feels completely different than it would have 6 months ago. It no longer feels like a request from someone you barely know. It feels like a need from someone who is central to your world. And smart people do not say no to people who are central to their world. Because smart people understand loyalty. They understand showing up. They take pride in being the person who comes through. And all of that is the mechanism. Your best qualities are the door. They just needed to find the right key. The first sign is that you find yourself explaining this person to other people more than you talk about them naturally. When someone asks how things are going and your answer involves a lot of context, a lot of reasons why things look one way but actually mean another, you are working harder than you should have to in order to maintain your own confidence in the situation. People who are good for you do not require that much explaining. The second sign is that your sense of your own judgment has quietly deteriorated since this person entered your life. Not dramatically, just a low-level chronic sense that you are less certain about things than you used to be, that you second-guess yourself more, that you defer to their read on situations more often than you once would have. This is not a coincidence. It is an outcome. Destabilizing your confidence in your own perception is not a side effect of this kind of manipulation. It is the primary goal. The third sign is the most subtle and the most important. You feel most like yourself when they approve of you, and least like yourself when they do not. If the dial of your self-perception has been handed to another person, if how you feel about who you are on a given day is largely determined by how they are responding to you, something has been restructured inside you that was not restructured by accident. Here is the cruelest part. The smarter you are, the better the explanation you will construct for why this is not what it looks like. You will find reasons. Good reasons. Reasons that hold up to scrutiny. Because you are intelligent, and intelligent people do not sit with cognitive dissonance. They resolve it. And the easiest resolution is always the one that requires the least disruption to your current life. So you will explain away the first sign, and the second, and by the time the third one has been explained away so thoroughly that you have almost forgotten noticing it, the architecture is complete. You are living inside something you helped build without ever knowing you were building it. Not suspicion. Suspicion makes you paranoid, and paranoid people are actually easier to manipulate because they are reactive rather than grounded. What actually protects you is something quieter and more difficult. It is the practice of checking in with yourself, not your analysis, not your reasoning, but your actual felt experience of being around a person and trusting what you find there even when you cannot justify it logically. Your nervous system knows things your intelligence has not processed yet. The tightness in your chest in certain conversations. The way you feel slightly smaller after certain interactions than you did before them. The specific exhaustion of being around someone who makes you feel both special and slightly off balance at the same time. These are not irrational signals. They are the most rational data available to you. And the practice of listening to them, actually listening, not explaining them away, is the only protection that works against manipulation sophisticated enough to pass every logical test you run on it. The reason this matters beyond any individual relationship is that the same pattern operates everywhere humans trust other humans, in friendships, in families, in workplaces, in financial partnerships. Anywhere one person has learned to read another person precisely enough to make them feel understood. Understanding the mechanism does not make you cynical. It makes you clear. And clarity is the only thing that actually interrupts the pattern before it completes itself. If you want to go deeper on exactly how this works, not theoretically but practically, I want to point you to two things in the description below. The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker, which is the most important book ever written about human instinct and why intelligent people override theirs at exactly the wrong moments. And Influence by Robert Cialdini, which breaks down the precise psychological principles behind why people say yes to things they would never agree to if they understood the mechanism being used on them. Both are Amazon affiliate links. If you purchase through them, I earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. And if sitting with this video brought something up that feels too heavy to carry alone, BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online. That link is in the description too. Drop a comment and tell me. Was there a moment in your life where you looked back and finally understood what was actually happening? You do not have to share the details. Just say I finally see it. And subscribe because next week we are going somewhere just as uncomfortable and just as necessary. See you there.